Hello and welcome to the Jerich Show, where Javad Malik and I, Eric Crone, talk about whatever comes to mind, actually. And this week is no different with that. Actually, what came to mind this week came to mind in sort of a funny way. We're going to talk a little bit today about mental fatigue and decision fatigue and how that's impacting people as we have this COVID-19 thing going on and in our regular lives. So, it's kind of ironic because this week, a couple days ago, I actually reached out to Javad and I said, "Hey, do you remember the topic that we had picked out for this week?" And Javad was like, "What did you say, Javad?"
I said I had no idea what we spoke about. It completely slipped my mind, and we put it down to maybe like old age or like early signs of dementia or something. But no, I think it boils down to mental fatigue. So the irony was not lost on us.
Yeah, because you said, "Man, I got so many things going on right now. I can't even remember. Like, if I don't write it down, it's gone, right?" And I've been feeling the same way, and I think a lot of people out there are feeling the same way too, right? We have 2020 has just been, it's been a dumpster fire. We know that. We all joked about 2019. 2020 has been the biggest dumpster fire ever. And so, with this moving home, from work, with the pandemic going on, with all of this stuff going on, we're making all of these decisions all the time. And I know, like, lately, my wife has asked me to make some decisions on things. And frankly, I don't want to even, like, decide what's for dinner, right? I just don't have the mental energy to do that. Are you feeling kind of the same way?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's a quote I read from an article as an extract, and I can't remember the exact words. Surprise, surprise. But the essence of it was the gist was that you only have the mental capacity to make so many decisions in a day before mental fatigue sets in. So you need to be wise into where you expend that mental energy. It's kind of the thinking behind why people like Steve Jobs wear the same clothes he wore the same clothes every day, or why people have a set routine, or why they have a set menu even in the house. Like Mondays we're going to have chicken, and Tuesdays is going to be roast veggies, and because it's one less decision you have to make. So the more things you can push onto autopilot, the better. So then you frees up your mind to make those important decisions.
Yep. And you know what? Speaking of autopilot, there's two systems of thinking that are pretty common out there, like the discussion about system one and system two. And system one thinking is your reactive stuff. It's your base instinctual, sort of thing. It's where your mind is making decisions for you and you don't have to think about it, right? And I like to think about this like, say you're at a soccer game, or you guys call it football or something over there, right? Let's say you're at a game and a ball gets kicked and it comes towards your head. You reach up, you block it, or you grab it, or whatever. Your brain, you did not stop and think, wow, okay, this ball's coming towards me. It's going to hit me in the noggin. Maybe I should do something about it. Your brain was instinctual and did it, right? And I also think about, like, have you ever done a long drive where you lose several miles of the drive? You just can't remember that part of the drive. It's because our brain goes into the system one thinking, which is the non critical thinking piece. And the more tired we get, the more liable we are to lean on that part, which really impacts our decision making.
It does. It does indeed. And, this is something I think, particularly, I felt it with not just myself, but friends and colleagues and family around it, is when everyone's stuck at home during lockdown, the tasks actually blend together. So your work tasks blend in, and your brain's constantly trying to hop between like what's for work, what do I have to do for home, or the kids are at home, I need to homeschool them, and what happens is that it's kind of like a buffer overflow. Your brain can only focus on so many things at any one point in time. Anything more than that, and it just becomes unproductive. It's been scientifically proven that uh, multitasking doesn't exist. There's no such thing as multitasking. You can't dedicate. Okay, in things like you said, like system one thinking, you can drive and you can listen to the radio at the same time, and maybe you can hold a conversation with your passenger, because these are kind of like. But if you're driving and you're listening to the radio, and then someone says, hey, try to solve this complex math equation at the same time, you're going to really struggle with that. So we what we see in science is multitasking isn't the way to do it. What you can do is shift focus. So imagine it like a spotlight on a stage. You don't want to illuminate the whole stage and the whole cast at the same time, but you want to shift the spotlight onto the main character or divert people's attention to that one particular item at that given point in time. So what we need to get better at is prioritizing tasks to do, and then learning how to shift focus as opposed to try to multitask, because I think that really depletes your brain's capacity very quickly.
Yeah, I did read somewhere that when it comes down to that, you're not actually, like, when you focus on something, you're not increasing the focus on that one thing. You're actually reducing the distractions around that thing. Okay. But you can only do that so much before your brain starts to wander, right? You're trying to focus on this, and next thing you're like, wow, why do cats have extra toes on some cats have extra toes. I mean, your brain just starts going in stupid places. We can only do that so much. And where this comes into the security side, because I do want to tie something to that this week, because that's what we do. But if you think about people at home and what they're dealing with and where their minds are and how they're thinking, a lot of people are simply in this just autopilot mode. And scammers, attackers, things like that know that. I mean, that's part of what's going on, and that's what they rely on, is to catch people when their guards down, basically when they're in that zombie state. And so this is actually a danger from a security side too. Not only that, from the practitioner side, we're all tired. We were already tired before this, and this has added a whole lot more stress. And we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves when it comes down to it, because ultimately, if we don't rest, if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't do something that's a little bit fun, we're going to be very, very unproductive.
We are indeed. We are indeed. And you talk about catching people off guard at home. Just day before yesterday, I get a call. My mum was in the house and she said, "Come here quick." And she's holding the phone, and I like, oh my God, is it a call from someone, like, something's bad happened or what have you? So I run over there, and she's like, "It's a call from BT. They're saying that our account's been hacked and they're going to disconnect our internet line."
Wow.
And I was like, "You haven't given them any information, have you?" She goes, No. I just told them that it's your account and you're going to come." So I just hung up the phone. I said, "Don't worry about it, Mum. It's just a scammer." But these things happen, and like, because Mum said she was just worried. Oh, you're working from home. Your whole livelihood is based on the internet being up. We can't have that going down. So
Yeah, and that's kind of funny, because we talk about, social engineering attacks or scams like that. It's almost purely an emotional attack. And when we're already emotionally drained and tired and unable to make those good decisions, you can see how easy it is for things like that to sneak through and cause problems, right? And it's only getting worse. I mean, social media has gone crazy. And I don't know about you. I've had to take a break from Twitter a little bit. I've had to back off Facebook, because the way that people are handling themselves is clearly something that is not okay in my mind. It upsets me, and it exhausts me, right? And this is just going on. And I think I'm seeing a pattern of people getting a little bit more cantankerous than perhaps they were in the past. And I really think that has to do with all of this information that we're being forced to process. Here in Florida, we had a huge spike yesterday of like 3,200 new cases. And we're on a big time uprise right now. And so people are scared or nervous or whatever, however they're reacting to this. That stimulus is continuing to bombard us at all times.
So there's this one chart I saw, and it was like how best to arrange your tasks, or do your activities. And it's a 2 by 2 matrix. And along the x-axis, there's the productive and unproductive. And along the y-axis, there's the attractive and unattractive. So you want to avoid getting into the unproductive, unattractive tasks. And your best work will come from productive and attractive, but also there's productive and unattractive. So lots of things, like you mentioned, I put social media now into it used to be an attractive but unproductive mainly. But now it's definitely gone way into that bottom corner where it's unattractive to me and it's very unproductive because it just rolls me up. So for those reasons, like you said, I've been taking largely a break from a lot of social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, definitely feeling it here. So, to close this out, let's just say, folks, take care of yourselves, take a deep breath, step outside, get some air, get some sun, whatever you have to do. Be aware of how tired we may be getting. Because, we work out, we go out, we do some strenuous labor. Our arms feel tired, our legs feel tired. We feel it in our bodies. We don't feel it as much in our brain. It just kind of sneaks up on us. So take care of yourself, be good to yourself, and be aware of the fact that you may be doing that, and try to counter it actively. Javad, what do you have to say?
I'll just quote what I heard many times one of the best TV presenters ever say, Jerry Springer: take care of each other and yourselves. Or was it the other way around? Take care of yourselves and each other.
that's that's fantastic. My biggest TV quote goes back to Bob Barker's "Spay and neuter your pets." So you're definitely one up on me there. So, having said that, everyone, thanks for joining us again for this episode of the Jerich Show. Javad, close it out for us, would you?
Stay secure, my friends.